Same thing, data tags right there, it's got your number. Everything as far as the valve itself is the same. These you just have the manual operator on. These do have a limit stop. Just like the actuators, these right here are these bolts. You got one on top and one at the bottom. So you'll have to loosen that down nut, run the nut out sometimes to get to go more closed. Opens, normally you're okay. But you'll have an indicator right here on the front. So if you look at some of these other ones, you'll see that little plate. It'll show you open and shut. So that is adjustable. So if it's not quite showing shut, you can just loosen those two little screws and kind of twist it if it needs to get fine-tuned a little bit. I know these are probably going to be left open all the time, but I would suggest coming down here at least once a month. Every single one of these, close it, open it, back up, just up. Exercise it, because if we get called out a year from now and this valve is stuck and it won't go close, and you tell me you've never operated it since it's been put in, that's not warranty. So that's kind of your routine maintenance on these, is operating these. And then these also have the packing in there, so it looks just like those. You have the two nuts on there. So if it starts to drip a little bit, just slowly tighten both nuts at the same time. Don't get it catty cornered, because then it's going to damage it, and at that point the packing is no good. There's grease inside of here. You shouldn't ever have to really mess with that. Now, if that packing starts to leak and water's shooting to the bottom, there is an O-ring on the bottom of this gearbox that's sealing it off, but it can't get past that seal. And if water gets in here and fills it up, obviously the grease is no good. So you can take all these bolts off the front, pop that cover off, clean all that out, and put back in there. Any type of normal grease will work. I know like wheel bearing grease, stuff like that. A number 2 grease is fine to put back in there. You don't have to pack it in there to where it fills the whole cavity. You'll see the gears in there. Normally I just kind of get all around the gears that way, and just kind of operate it. You can do it with that cover off and make sure it gets through all the gears. If you need to add a little more, you can. But there's no routine maintenance. I have to go in there, pull that cover off, and do that. But that'd be about the only thing you'll have to end up doing with that grease if it ever has a water leak. So if it does start to drip or spew, I would correct it quickly so you're not having to open these up. So any questions on any of this? So the O&M will have all the information. Anything you may need to know. It has the parts breakdowns on these as well. That goes for the actuators, the valves, into the air cushion stuff. So any replacement parts you can order, like straight through Desert, you can contact us or any other rep for Desert. They can get you parts. Normally, no ring or something, you make it take a couple days. But if it's major parts, sometimes it may take a couple weeks. So just kind of, something happens, unfortunately, it's hard to be proactive on stuff breaking, but having a couple spare like O-rings for these, different things, some packing, don't sit on the shelf. I'd recommend some of that stuff. That way, if something happens, you're ready to just go in there and replace it. Same thing with these. Some of the people, they'll order replacement caps to go on these air cushions, just so that if they ever break or bust, then they can get replacement ones. And it's sitting right there on the shelf. So any questions over anything? With the actuators, these plug valves, the check valves, or anything like that? Good.